Everyone. I hope everybody is enjoying the daylight later. With the time change, of course, we're able to go home in the daylight, which is good. As we spoke about last week, this week we're going to be in Psalms 59. We also asked last week I asked you to go ahead and read 1 Samuel chapter 19 if you could. As I explained last week, Psalm 59 is closely associated with the latter part of 1 Samuel 19. And if I flip over there real quick, specifically 11 and following, but we noticed in 1 Samuel 19 it says, Saul sent men to David's house to watch it and to kill him in the morning. And of course David's wife gets involved. They trick the people, and David gets away. So let's jump in here to Psalm 59. And just as a side note, the title of it is For the Director of Music to the Tune of Do Not Destroy of David. A Miltim, when Saul had sent men to watch David's house in order to kill him. So it starts off, Deliver me from my enemies, O God. Be my fortress against those who are attacking me. Deliver me from evildoers, and save me from those who are after my blood. See how they lie in wait for me, fierce men conspiring against me, for no offense or sin of mine, Lord. I have done nothing wrong, yet they are ready to attack me. Arise to help me. Look on my plight. You, Lord God Almighty, you who are the God of Israel, rouse yourself to punish all the nations. Show no mercy to wicked traitors. They return at evening, snarling like dogs, and prowl about the city. See what they spew from their mouths. The words from their lips are sharp as swords, and they think, who can hear us? But you laugh at them, Lord. You scoff at all those nations. You are my strength. I watch for you. God, you are my fortress, my God on whom I can rely. God will go before me and will let me gloat over those who slander me. But do not kill them, Lord, your shield, or my people will forget. In your might uproot them and bring them down, for their sins of their mouths, for the words of their lips. Let them be caught in their pride. For the curses and lies they utter, consume them in your wrath. Consume them till they are no more. Then it will be known to the ends of the earth that God rules over Jacob. They return at evening like snarling dogs and prowl about the city. They wander about for food and howl if not satisfied. But I will sing of your strength. In the morning I will sing of your love, for you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. You are my strength. I will sing praise to you, God. To you, God, are my fortress, my God on whom I can rely. So, if we go back and start to break this out some, it starts off, and I have this up behind me, you can probably see, but it's broken down into sections. It starts off with David saying, what most of us, I think, would start off going, help! What we have here is David fleeing, people after him. We see here a little bit later in verse 5, where it talks about, raise yourself to punish all the nations. Show no mercy to wicked traitors. So it just appears it was just not Saul that was after David. Remember, there were others that were telling Saul where David was, what he was doing, and so forth. So it starts out with, "Deliver me from my enemies, O God. Be my fortress against those who are attacking me. Deliver me from evildoers, and save me from those who are after my blood." And Saul knew Saul was evil, was in the wrong here. If we think about deliver me from evildoers, if we look back at 1 Samuel 19, it starts out, 1 Samuel 19, Saul is trying to kill David, before the time we just read about. And I'm going to read 1 through 4 real quick. It says, "Saul told his son Jonathan and all the attendants to kill David, but Jonathan had taken a great liking to David and warned him, 'My father Saul is looking for a chance to kill you. Be on your guard tomorrow morning. Go into hiding and stay there. I will go out and stand with my father in the field where you are. I will speak to him about you and will tell you what I find out.' Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father and said to him, 'Let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you, and what he has done has benefited you greatly. He took his life in his hands when he killed the Philistines. The Lord won a great victory for all Israel, and you saw it and were glad. Why then would you do wrong to an innocent man like David by killing him for no reason?'" So that's Jonathan, Saul's own son, telling him this. Now at that point, Saul kind of turns back a little bit, and then we see all over again, Saul goes after David. And we talked about this before, why some of this may be, when we studied the life of David. Remember, David had ample opportunities to kill Saul. Never did kill Saul. He would not raise his hands against the Lord's appointed, the king. And we talked about what if he had done that? And what repercussions would have been from that amongst the nation of Israel. Even after Saul died and David became king, he wasn't unified king over everybody at first. There were still people that were loyal to Saul. So here we also, there's that difference there. If David would have done that, if David would have killed him, there would have been division in all of that, and made it much more difficult for David to be able to reign over the whole kingdom. So we have here, back in Psalm 59, it says, "Deliver me from evildoers." Saul knew David was innocent. Saul was an evildoer. We go to verse 3. It says, "See how they lie in wait for me. Fierce men conspire against me. For no reason or sin of mine, Lord. I have done no wrong, yet they are ready to attack me. Arise to help me. Look on my plight." Imagine this. Can anybody here recall? I'm sure most of you can recall exactly how David was anointed. He wasn't even there with his brothers. David wasn't in there going, "Ooh, me." This wasn't something, David being anointed to be the next king wasn't something David was seeking. Could you imagine David's thoughts here in all of this? And he's going, I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't asked for this. I haven't asked to be the king. I'm not trying to undermine Saul. And yet here I am having fierce men ready and trying to kill me. It says, see how they lie in wait for me. Fierce men conspire against me for no reason or sin of mine. Lord, how would you have felt? How would you feel in a time if you were in a situation like this, or a situation where you didn't ask to be where you were, and everyone was conspiring against you, even though you had done nothing but the right thing all the time? How would that weigh on you? Would that have weighed on you heavily? They're shaking their heads. You just can't hear the rattling, I promise. See, I get to pick on y'all since Edith is not here. I wonder if she's going to watch this. If you are watching, Edith, we hope you are getting well quickly. Edith is the one that always speaks up. All the rest of them are quiet. Yes, that's a pick on y'all. But it says, and David in 4 says, I have done nothing wrong, or I've done no wrong, yet they are ready to attack me. Arise to help me. Look on my plight. And I have a note on here. And I just kind of wrote what my thought was there, and then it was like, you put me here, please help me. Well, think about it. If you'd been in that situation, he's saying, arise, come on, step in here. Then we pick up in verse 5, it says, you, Lord God Almighty, you who are the God of Israel, rouse yourself to punish all the nations. Show no mercy to wicked traitors. He's talking about Israelites specifically there. So we're covering the Gentiles and we're covering the Israelites there. And he says, they return at evening, snarling like dogs, and prowl about the city. A couple of things about that. First, don't forget, dogs haven't always been pets. And even today, there can be wild dogs. Matter of fact, I remember when I was, a long time ago, this was 30 years ago probably, when I was hunting in Georgia, there was a gentleman I remember that had been hunting that had actually been attacked by a group of wild dogs. We see it, we even see it in the news, this toddler, this person, that. Imagine a pack of wild dogs at night snarling, coming around looking for stuff. That's pretty frightening. Definitely can be frightening. And we pick up in 7, it says, see what they spew from their mouths. The words from their lips are like sharp as, the words from their lips are sharp as swords. And they think, who can hear us? They're pretty confident there. Pretty confident. Pretty emboldened there. Saying whatever they want. Not feeling any course of reprisals. And if you look at Revelation 22, go to the very last page of the gospel. Not the last page of the Bible, because mine's got all these extra blank pages for notes and tables and all that. But the very last page, depending on how big your text is, before we get off of that subject of dogs, but look at 22:15. That's Revelation 22:15, and it says, outside, well actually, I'm going to pick up in 12, and it says, look, I am coming soon, my reward is with you, and I will give to each person according to what they have done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may go through the gates into the city. Outside are the dogs, those who practice magical arts, the sexual immoral, the murderers, the idolaters, and everyone who loves and practices falsehoods. They just define the dogs there. In addition, I'm having the hardest time speaking this evening. Philippians 3:2, it refers to the quote unquote the dogs again, And starting in verse 1, chapter 3, it says, "Further, my brothers and sisters, rejoice in the Lord. It is no trouble for me to write the same things to you again, and it is a safeguard for you." It says, "Watch out for those dogs, those evildoers, those manipulators of the flesh." Just a couple of other instances where they refer to bad people as dogs. We pick up again in verse 8, but it says, we've just talked about how the people had confidence. The words from their lips were sharp as swords, and they think, who can hear us? But you laugh at them, Lord. You scoff at all those nations. You are my strength. I watch for you. You, God, are my fortress, my God on whom I can rely. I like this part specifically. I love the "I watch for you." If you read this, he's going, God, you are my strength. I watch for you. He keeps his focus on God. Does he know what's going on? Well, certainly he knows what's going on. But he knows where his deliverance will also come from. He knows where his strength is. How oftentimes do we as human beings, when we face a difficulty, automatically start trying to solve the problem ourselves before we go to the Lord in prayer? And even then, how often do we become, our head gets lowered to the problem instead of being focused on God? I know many times I've been faced with something and realized, why haven't you prayed about this? David here says, I'm watching for you. I know you are my strength. I know you are my fortress. I know you will take care of me. What a wonderful example. David is there. His words are there, especially when we think about what's going on. He just had to run from his life. People are after him. That visual is such a wonderful reminder for us that we need to make sure we're watching for God and remembering who is our fortress and who we can rely on. Picking up in 10 again, it says, my God on whom I can rely. God will go before me and will let me gloat over those who slander me. Not going to just keep him safe. David's saying, I'm going to be up here again. I'm going to be up here again. But he says, do not kill them, Lord, our shield, or my people will forget. In your might uproot them and bring them down, for the sins of their mouths, for the words of their lips. Let them be caught in their pride. Most of y'all, quite a good number of you are the next generation up above me, and I'm sure you'll probably be familiar with this quote. I literally have it written out here, where it says, let them be caught in their pride. That's the last part of verse 12 there. You ever heard the saying, just give them enough rope? Yeah, say, I got a whole bunch of head shaking out there now. Yeah, I've heard that. I remember quite often my dad said, just give them enough rope. They'll hang themselves with it. Give them enough rope. You don't have to worry about it. Give them enough rope. I so see that right there. I can't help but see where David is saying, let them be caught in their pride. But even more importantly, it says, but do not kill them, Lord, our shield, or my people will forget. How often do we forget? I can't help but think of David here later on in life, where he names one of his sons, Nathan, who was the prophet that called him out over his sin with Bathsheba. That is such an incredible reminder for us. And we see that throughout the the nation of Israel, the history of the nation of Israel. And we also see it where Jesus asked us to make sure to take the Lord's Supper. He didn't want us to forget. We're bad about that, aren't we? Or am I the only one here in here that forgets stuff? Yes. Yeah. I knew what that answer was going to be honest with you. I have my right brain. Her name is Karen, who helps me with everything along that line. But it is really important to remind us of things. I got home late last night after visiting, and there was something I needed to do, and I'm laying there in bed going, I don't want to get up and send myself an email. So I took my watch off and set it on the nightstand. I never take my watch off. So first thing this morning when I woke up, I'm like, I need to go do that. Those are things that we can do for ourselves, whether we can take advantage of the electronic devices we have and set ourselves reminders for things, or sign up for things on emails like Bible studies or a verse a day. But there are a lot of things that we can do to help remind ourselves to stay in the Word and to stay strong. And we see that through here. David being worried about people forgetting what's going on. People have not changed all that much from the time this was written, if you think about it. So we jump back in. We'll jump in here at 13. It says, "Consume them in your wrath. Consume them till they are no more. Then it will be known to the ends of the earth that God rules over Jacob." What was not only it was don't let them forget. Here's what they should not forget: that God, you are the true ruler. Then we go back and it says, "They return at evening, snarling like dogs, and prowl about the city. They wander about for food, and howl if not satisfied. But I will sing of your strength. In the morning I will sing of your love, for you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. You are my strength. I sing praise to you. You, God, are my fortress, my God on whom I can rely." So we see as David is walking through this, kind of pouring out his heart a little bit, he's saying, "Help me, Father. This is what's going on. Please don't wait. Please be active here." We see with the arise, be active. These people are after me. He said, don't kill them. This can be good. Let them be remembered. Let everyone know. Let you be glorified is what David's saying. Let you be glorified. And I read 13b again. It says, "Then it will be known to the ends of the earth that God rules over Jacob." And he goes right back in. I almost see this as a little bit of a, please don't forget. They return at evening, cover of darkness, snarling like dogs. They wander about for food and howl if not satisfied. That's going on. But I will sing of your strength. In the morning I will sing of your love. If you notice, he just said, in the morning I'm going to be alive. And I will give you praise. For you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. You are my strength. I sing praise to you. You, God, are my fortress, my God on whom I can rely. So we see David, help me. These people are after me. But even in your help, may you be glorified, Father, not me. May you be glorified. And he says again, they come at night, but in the morning, because I know you're going to take care of me, because you're my fortress. Isn't that awesome? I love how he wraps all of that together to show how I need your help. This is what's going on, but I want you to be glorified. And I know you're going to help me. Thank you. God. There's a lot we can pull out of that. How often do we cling? How often do we pray like that? How often do we cling to God? We don't know every prayer David ever prayed. We know he was not perfect. I'll about guarantee you there's times that David went, why haven't I prayed about this yet? I can just see it. Matter of fact, probably with David and with Bathsheba, he was like going, I probably should be praying about this, but I'm embarrassed. That's okay. We need to turn to God. We just need to turn to God. Whether we're scared, whether we're embarrassed, however, he's there. All right. All you online, thanks. Good to see y'all. Hope y'all have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.